Welcome to Conscious Talk, radio that makes a difference.
Well, we're certainly delighted to have you. And I think our first question for you, Judith, is why did you write this book? And what was the importance of it or the impetus of it for you to do it?
I have several answers. The deepest answer is I was profoundly, deeply called to write it. And when I am called, I always say yes.
Mm-hmm.
Behind that is people kept saying, both in my life and on the radio and on the television and in print, how did we get here? Like people did not know how we got here, and they were offering all sorts of different explanations, and I kept going, I know how we got here. And I just felt like it was my responsibility to share what I know about how we got here that's deeper than what other people are saying. It's deeper than politics. It's deeper than economics. It's deeper than prejudice. It's deeper than misogyny. It's deeper than patriarchy. It's just the deepest thing I know about how we got here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and as we know, in our culture, we like to look at symptoms. You know, we think that we can sweep them under the rug and everything's handled. And we've been, from natural health to through everything else in our lives, looking at the consciousness, looking at what is the real cause, what's beneath all of this, is obviously the most important thing to us. So we were really struck by this book because you go back to something that seems quite basic, and that is how we've all been abused. So
maybe you start with reading a little bit about Once Upon a Time, which you have in your book, to help describe the reenactment of that trauma.
I would love to do that. Once upon a time, there was a leader. And I'm just going to take a pause here a minute, Brenda and Rob, and say this leader could be the leader of a country, the leader of a company, the leader of a religion, the leader of a family. It could be the leader of any group. Once upon a time, there was a leader, and in this book, this could be the leader of any country, here, there, anywhere. This could be a man, a woman, black, white, old, or young. For our exploration, I'll make this leader a man. He created trauma for his people every day, more and more each day. His people were suffering. They cried out to him. They appealed to him. They begged him to stop hurting them. He didn't. He refused. There was no way he was going to stop. He didn't know why. There was no way he was even going to wonder why. That's just how he was. That's just how it was going to be. Little did he know that he was causing suffering to his people in the same ways his father caused him suffering as a little boy. Little did he care to know that he was reenacting for himself and all to see the ways in which his father caused him suffering in his childhood. He belittled and humiliated his people, even his advisors, as his father had him. He lied to his people the way his father had lied to him and other members of the family. He threatened his people the way his father had threatened him. He violated his people and the trust they needed to have in him, the way his father had violated him and his trust. He attacked his people the way his father had attacked him. And he exiled his people the way his father had exiled him. The leader betrayed his people, just as his father had betrayed him.
And therein is the core issue that this book addresses here, Judith, and yet no one, at least no one on national TV or cable television is, or radio, is able to even get close to the core of what the problem is, and that is looking at ourselves.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, and it made me think of we often hear, and I know Abraham Lincoln had referred to this, and we heard President Obama refer to the idea of our better angels. If we have better angels, we have some that maybe, are a little bit darker. so it's included in that. Well, you talked about how
Can I just add to that, Rob?
Sure.
It is included in that, but again, what I haven't heard anybody say was, you can't just hope that you act on your better angels. You can't just hope that that's where you will come from. You have to work with both. It is our responsibility. Talk about responsibility. It's our responsibility to do the work with both our good angels, better angels, and our not so better angels.
Yeah, right. That's right. Well, and in the spiritual circles, that's been referred to a lot as kind of our shadow side and shadow work, that kind of thing. But I really love how you're bringing it right out into where we live, and because we don't look there, it's so funny. We compartmentalize so much.
So does the book offer hope for people? Is there hope?
Yes, the book offers hope. Yes, I offer hope. And yes, there is hope. I think the despair and the hopelessness comes in the tragedy of if we don't do the work. Because if we just continue to live with the trauma underground within ourselves, then from that underground trauma, we keep creating more trauma. And so to me, the hope is, let's face the trauma inside that happened long ago instead of creating more trauma for today and tomorrow and the day after that. And so to me, that is the hope, that we have the power to heal this and stop escalating the trauma and the destruction. And that hope lies within ourselves.